Go.
Good afternoon, George Heller, West 80 South Poles. There's been some requests to get some more detail on these winter watering systems that we got going on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a step-by-step tutorial of how to put one together here. We'll go over the parts first and how we built them and all that. So what we've got here, just for visual purposes, is we've got a culvert, this diameter, 24-inch diameter plastic culvert, and we've got it's underneath of that concrete blanket right now, but that goes 8 feet from the top of it down into the ground, and it's got a 1 1/4 inch HDPE water line coming from the milk house, which is way up in the barnyard at this farm. This is 3,000 feet from the well right here, so this is our farthest water point. We're working on getting the cattle moved into this paddock over here. They're over there right now, and they've been there, I don't know, about a month or so, and we've been putting down a lot of good fertility over there and everything. So now we want to move them over here because we got some really nasty weather coming. And on the west side of this paddock here is all kinds of thick willow brush and everything, and it'll be a lot better windbreak than what they got now, so that's why I'm trying to get them over here. So we got our tube, and then let's go over the parts. This is an improvement from my first design. I never put this in the first one at the other farm. I do have this in the water that's 500 feet down the fence line here. And it's been working amazing. So you can get in here. So what we did is we just cut 2-inch foam. It's just extruded 4x8 sheets of foam, and they're 2-inch foam, and I cut them into, these are 2 3/4 inch wide strips, 2 3/4 here. And then what I did is I took all the strips and I arrayed them inside a tube that I have, another piece of this tubing I have in my shop. I got it fitting tight because I don't want it sliding in too easy. And you drop them all down in there, and you get them all nice and tight. It takes a little bit of patience. You get them all nice and tight in there, and what a trick is kind of jumping around here, but when you put them in there, after you've made all these rings, you get a whole bunch of these circles that are left over. And so what you do is you take one of these circles of treated plywood, you drop it down to the bottom, and then that keeps the foam tight to the tube all the way around. And then what I did is I just went around the top with some Tyvek tape and held them tight together, and that held it real good. And then you just take some spray foam up the seams. I just do half at a time, top half, let that get hard, and pull it out after it's hard, like the next day, flip it over and do the other side, same deal. And then it comes out real nice and solid. So that's that. And then this is what actually the water trough is going to sit on. I don't have the water trough out here yet. I got it in the cab of the pickup because it's like 10 degrees out right now, and I leak tested it in the shop before I come over here to make sure I didn't have any leaks in my fittings. So there's some water in the valve, and I don't want it to freeze on me before I get it put in. So what we did is we got some 3/4 inch treated plywood, and what we did is we found the diameter, the inside diameter of that culvert, and we cut a bunch of rings the same diameter as that, and then we found the inside diameter, which is the inside diameter is the same as the outside diameter of the water trough on the top of it. And I'll show you that in a second. So, and then what we're going to do is we're going to use legs, screw it in, and then the topper is this 20-inch tire. That's going to keep everything sealed in. So, all right, let's do this thing. We're going to get this blanket out here. 24 years of pouring concrete. I finally bought some concrete blankets, but I'm not covering concrete with them. Bought those for farming instead of concrete. Okay, come over here. I want you to look down here. So what we've done is we've got the 1 1/4 inch pipe. That's groundwater down in there. this is kind of low down in the bottom here. Not like the other farm, but it's low, and the water table's right there. So what we got is we got a 1-inch high density polyethylene line coming off the 1.25 inch. And then what we did is we came up with a barb fitting out of the pipe there, and then we just got a ball valve. And I put a T on because eventually in the future I'm going to have a water line coming out to service the above ground water line for summer. And then we put a Street 90 on here with a male hose adapter on there. So, all right, we're going to drop this styrofoam down in here now. Might go in a little bit hard because I want it to be snug. Okay, got it started. Okay, so now I gotta stop there because that manifold's right against the edge of the culvert, and I don't want to kink my line, so I'm just gonna reach down. With the shovel and pull it into the middle. Now I've got it passed. Okay. Push it down. Okay. Now you don't push it down all the way right away, because we're going to determine the height with this ring here. And this ring, I just took some construction adhesive between each ring, and I clamped it, and then I used 3 1/8 inch deck screws to put it all together. The glue is doing all the holding now, but the screws were to get it all tight. So, and we've got these cut pretty tight, so I'm gonna need my hammer to kind of coerce it in there, and then you can kind of rotate it around because these culverts they're not perfectly round. So you gotta kind of fit your way in there. And it's cold today. Alright, we're in. Now we're just going to tap it down. Nice and easy. Put your knee on there to add some pressure. It's got a little lip on it here. There we go. Okay. Didn't wreck it too bad. So now what I'm going to do is I want this wood ring 1 inch down from the top of this culvert here. So I'm going to tap it down all the way around. Let's check our height. We're at 7/8 there. Okay. 1 inch. That's 7/8. Okay. We got 1.25 inches there. We'll just even it out. Don't tell anybody. It'll be our secret. Okay, 1.25 inches. It's 1.125 inches. Go down a little bit. That's 1.25 inches. We'll go down here just a little bit. There. I think that's good. Yep. You want to get this pretty flat because you're putting water in here, and water takes the form of it level, so you don't want it lopsided, filling your trough up lopsided, you know. I double and triple check all measurements all the time. It's way easier to check measurements than it is to redo things. There we are. I'm happy with that. I think we're within a 1/16 of an inch all the way around. Okay, now to hold this ring in place and to support the water trough, I'm going to take my mittens off. We've got some 2-inch legs here. These are number 15 legs, I guess is what they call them. We're just going to run 4 legs. I think that'll do it. We're only putting about 12 gallons of water in here, so I think 4 legs will do it. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna go in between these ribs here, because the plastic's only about 1/4 inch thick right here. I'll start on this side here. I got smart and bought some shorter legs. I was using longer ones and I had to cut the points off with the grinder later. But I'm learning. One more. This fence is not hot, so I gotta worry about getting my brain shocked. Ow. Okay, there we go. That's our support for our tank there. Now I guess it's time for the tank. So let's get the tank out. I'll show you how that goes in. I'll show you how that goes together then too. Okay. All right, so I know I mentioned this on another video, or maybe I didn't, but I didn't realize that you can mount these Job valves in the bottom of the tank vertically like that. I didn't know that. I actually did it on the other one and tried it out and it worked. And then I just so happened to look at the box and it says horizontal or vertical mount. So pays to read the directions, I guess. Saves you a little bit of messing around. The reason I put it in the bottom is because if the fitting is coming out the side of the tank here, it hits that foam because there's not enough clearance here. So we're out the bottom. So what we did, we just got the Job valve coming out the bottom, and then I bought a female hose adapter, put some Teflon tape on the Job valve, put that on there, and then I've got a hose here that's just screwed into it. I wanted to use hose fittings because they're just so much easier to deal with. And if you got to mess around with something, you can take it apart real easy, and it's real versatile. Then I just got a short length of hose here. This is actually a piece of hose that I've been saving for, I don't know, probably almost 10 years. It came off a ready mix truck. The ends were all messed up, but it's a nice rubber hose, so we're using it. Made 2 pieces with this one. We got one on the other one. So now I'll hook this up. Why don't you come in closer here? I'll hook this up to our male hose fitting here. Okay. Nice and tight. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to leak test it. So to do that, I'm going to hold this valve closed, as I want to know if this fitting's leaking all here.
Leaking out the bottom.
Oh, I think it's not tight. It came loose. See, that's why we leak test it before we throw it in there. No, I didn't stage that. Definitely didn't stage that. Ah! Okay. Alright, I'm going to dump this out. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to lower the hose down in there nice and easy. I'll point that down in there so you can see. You don't want it to kink. I got a kind of a loop in there. I got to spin this around a little bit. Okay. And we want to drop this hose down so it just loops down in there. Okay, see? It's just got a nice radius on it down in there. So then we're going to drop this the rest of the way in. And let it fill up. And what we're going to do is we're going to let this cycle. And I'm going to scoop a couple buckets of water out of here to make sure that when the float drops down that it starts operating correctly. I don't know, I just like to check how everything's working, just for peace of mind, so I'm not up all night. Some pipe dope on there. I don't want to be up all night thinking about it, because I will be if I'm not sure. So we're gonna let that fill up, and then I got a bucket here. I'm just gonna bail some out. That's what I do in the morning too. I don't think I'm gonna do it anymore because I've got this lid made here now. But so what I do when I'm breaking ice, which I have been because I used my other lid at the other farm and I haven't made an extra one yet. But so there, now it's shut off. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna scoop the bucket out of here and make sure that that starts recharging. Yeah, and it's recharging. And we'll just cycle it through a couple times. And there's a few little pieces of crud in here. I'd rather not have the animals ingesting. So yeah, I think a couple cycles. We'll do one more cycle and then we'll be happy with that. And if you notice, I got the float tied really close. I've probably only got this much string between the valve and the float. And that's, I'll show you that in a second. That's to keep the float low enough to put the lid on. Let's see, recharging. Can you see that recharging from there? I want to see it recharge. I want to show you how fast this recharges 5 gallons of water. Well, it's probably 3.5 there. It says on the box 90 gallons per minute is what it says on the box, and I'm thinking it works pretty good. So now the next step, now that we're satisfied with the cycling and everything, we're gonna put the lid on. Well, not the lid. We're gonna put the tire on over top, and these handles are just gonna bend down like this. Okay, no big deal. Okay, oh, I better show you this better too. So this is a 275 65 R20 tire here. And what I did is I took my jigsaw and I cut the sidewall out of the back side, one side of it here. That's to fit over the culvert. So you just fit it over the culvert and you fit it on there. Now look how good that fits. Come see how. It just so happened, I didn't know this at all when the first time I built one of these, that a 20-inch tire is the exact right size to fit right on this water trough. And I got these water troughs at Fleet Supply, just a local Fleet Supply store. So yeah, so we're gonna take a couple 4-inch legs. Break the box. We'll do 4 on this one. I only had 2 legs on the other one. So our handles are right here, so we don't want to go where our handles are. So what we're gonna do, see, we know the rim is only about that wide, so we're gonna go just outside the bead of the tire. This is the bead of the tire right here. Oh, we're gonna. Just go slow. Okay, there's one. And I'll scoop them pieces of rubber out of there when we're done. You get a little bit of crud in here when you're doing this, but it's not a big deal. Well, I guess I only have 3 here. I could have one more. way, I guess. Okay, now that we got that done, we're gonna take our bucket, clean these chunks of rubber out of here. I'll show you how this works when they're dribbling their mouths on here too. I'll show you. Get this junk cleaned out of here. I'll pour a little on the side of the tire and show you how nice that works. Okay. All right. So when the cows pick their mouths up, they're always dripping water. So being that tire fits right on there, it runs right back into the trough. See. And then if it's cold enough, it'll get a little bit of ice right here and it'll be completely sealed, so no water is going down in the hole at all. You're not getting any snag out of their mouths down in there or nothing like that. It's gonna create a microbiome down in there. It starts making it nasty. So now, one thing I thought about this time too that I didn't before is making a lid. So what I did, I just got, we got a bunch of these scraps from making those rings. I just took and cut a piece of foam, just a little bit smaller, than that ring. And then this is another reason, that's why I have such a short string on my float. So that valve is down in, that floats down in the tank here. We're sitting at just under 12 gallons of water in here. Okay, so then at night, I come out here all the time, night, morning, it's just part of it. It's my winter deal. Okay, so at night, what I'm gonna start doing is I'm gonna start putting these lids on. It just fits right in there. It doesn't come off, and they can't come up and nose this thing out of here. Nothing. They can't. They're gonna come up and see wood, and they're just gonna leave. I put a lid like this on the water down there. It was -10 overnight a few weeks ago. And I come out and I pulled the lid off and I just barely had some slush on the outer edge of the water. So I didn't have to break any ice. All I had to do was pull the lid off. So I'm gonna start doing that. I'm gonna start using the lids and going at it that way. Probably noticed that this tire's up off the ground here. I'm gonna bring in some crushed rock and bring the crushed rock up to the tire here. I only want it this tall because we got sheep in here too, so we want it up here so that they can reach over and drink easy. We don't want the sheep struggling to get water. So I got a bunch of 1.5-inch crushed rock up by the barnyard up there, and I'm gonna bring a load down here tomorrow and spread it out with the bobcat and get this ready before we bring them in here. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. There's no electricity involved with this except for pumping the water up in the milk house. There's no electricity down here. This is just water pressure, and then we're using geothermal ground heat to keep the water thawed. So I hope this helps you guys out. If you got any questions or anything like that, leave them in the comment section, and yeah, throw out some more ideas for things you want to see. Thanks for watching, and everybody have a great evening.